Hello and welcome to the Sandbox Saturday stream. I am Alex and we are joined by Joseph, our producer. Hello, Joseph.
Hi, how are you?
It's weird. I have to look away from my screen to look at you, which is weird. So I have to look away from you to look at you. So
Yep.
if you were with us the past couple streams, as many of you were, it's good to see you all again. We are going to we're just gonna come right to the chase and start doing stuff. Well, I guess we should mention I do want to point out. Yes, I saw somebody in the chat who said that. Passive income said Avenged Sevenfold has joined Sandbox Landowner. So we're gonna be reducing news on these streams because we will have other ways for you to get your news, so we can get to the real fun stuff. Because I mean, the news is fun too, but there's lots of ways for you to find out about that, and we can show you more in VoxEdit and the Game Maker, things like that. But I do want to point out that we're dropping new NFTs from our artists basically every 3 days or so. It's usually Saturdays and Wednesdays right now that we have artists usually releasing about 5, sometimes a few more pieces. So today, this morning at 1 p.m. UTC, this morning at 1 p.m., morning for me, these 8 NFTs from I think it would be said 5 Liquid, 5 LQD. I'm not positive on that. One of our artists in the Creator Fund dropped these. Some really cool vehicles, creatures. Some of these have already sold out. I know the raccoon driving a little mech robot sold out. I think some of the other ones sold out too. So as always, you can check those out at sandbox.game and click the market button. At some point it'll be called shop, I believe. So you can go there and check out what's for sale. So we are going to upload. What was that? Alex Snap. Alex is better lit. Oh, yes. I mean, I didn't change my setup. It just the camera decided to cooperate with my settings today, I guess.
Miraculous.
I don't have it like on auto brightness or anything. It just everything's like dialed in, and sometimes like the ambient light from my window. I've got knockout curtains, but it comes around the sides. Sometimes it's better than other days. Plus I have to set this all up every single time. my lighting and setup. So sometimes it's going to be a little different. I was personally happy with my light setup. I turned on the camera and went, you can see me. So, if you were with us before, we were making, I'm sorry about all the motorcycles. It's a nice day outside.
It's a beautiful day.
It is a beautiful day. So, can't really blame them. We were making this chocolate bunny to go to the few we only had. I think there were 8 people with a total of 11 bunnies sold, who actually, or 11 bunnies bought, I guess, would be what they did for Easter. So they're going to be getting this. We're going to mint 15 of this bunny, and by, I think, basically a 75% majority, people voted for the Evil Eye bunny to win.
Okay.
So that was not too surprising. It was pretty popular while we were making it. So we are going to re-upload this now. So we've got our bunny all figured out. And this is going to be kind of like a little tutorial for those of you in the Game Jam who want to know how to upload and submit your artwork to Joseph. Hey, Camilla's here. And the first thing we want to do is we want to make sure that we have what we want to display on OpenC as an NFT. We want that to look good. And we also want it to look good in the Game Maker. And what you want to display in your game as the default animation might be different than what you want on OpenC as the thing that gets people's attention. So the Game Maker, at least right now, I can't promise that it will always be this way, but at least right now, if you have an animation called idle, as we do, that will be the one that plays in the Game Maker basically no matter what. So we've got our idle animation here. It's set as our default, but we actually want to make the evil animation our default, and that's going to tell OpenC what to play back. So we click on the evil animation here, And we play it back, make sure it's the one that we actually want. And we can actually, we'll stop it right there, I think. Let's see what that thumbnail looks like real quick. Let's see. If I hit export to marketplace, it'll show us the thumbnail view. I like that. We'll go with that one. All right. So we're going to go back to our animation panel. We're going to click the three-dot menu, which Joseph is so kindly not in front of. And,
hi, yeah.
Yeah. No, you went the wrong way. You were good. You were good where you were. Go back, go back.
It's a trap.
So we click Set as Default on Evil, and that highlights it gold, the text, and that will be what plays in OpenC as the animation when you go to look at that item on OpenC. I see a question from Tony, something about failed to fetch on the
Tony,
sale.
I would recommend you sign out of your MetaMask wallet and then re-sign in again.
Yeah, that's usually the safest bet. Sometimes, if all else fails, I would try unplugging your router and replugging it to kind of force the disconnection or restart your computer. Both of those have helped people in the past who have had issues with connections. All right, so let's see here. So we've got idle is going to be the default in the game maker no matter what, and evil is the default animation. Hi, Purple Lioness, welcome back. Hi, Tim. And let's see. Do I ever interact with our viewers? No, not usually. No, we never interact with our viewers ever. Click export to marketplace.
Alex, you silly. Oh yeah, Bitsky is the same. You'll just sign out of that, sign back in, see if that fixes it, and if it doesn't, then we can work it out. If you want to send me some DMs or like an email or something like that, I get all the support emails forwarded to me. So,
yeah. If somebody says hi and I miss it, it happens because there's 125 of you in the chat right now, and I'm trying to explain how to do something, so sometimes I don't always see the chat, but we try. That's why there's two of us here. So we pick the thumbnail that looks best. I usually like one that shows the details the best, so in this case it shows the glowing eyes pretty well. And we click export, and that's going to open up our browser.
Thomas Cole, animations trigger at your request as the game developer.
Yes. So, yeah, and I'll show you just in just a minute how to do that. So we're gonna hit replace asset, and we're gonna select the chocolate bunny we had uploaded last time. We click the little checkbox, scroll down, wait for the motorcycles, hit continue again, and now we can see that we've got our animations. So preview shows the thumbnail that we picked. View 3D is usually the first frame of the idle animation. And then we can see our animations listed here. So this is a way you can double check what is going to go to OpenC. OpenC always picks the first animation. So you got preview, view 3D, and then the top animation is what OpenC goes with. Okay, so let's see. Chocolate bunny, what are we going to say for the description? Let's see. Some say he's filled with dark chocolate. All right. And behavior, we're going to leave it as none. There's no behavior needed for this. We could make it an enemy or something, but we didn't make any animations to kind of go with that. So we hit continue. And whoop. Oh no, it's not working. So let's see. I must have done something goofy here. Let's back up. I'm gonna check my inventory off to the side, make sure I didn't do something silly. So sometimes the dashboard, if you've already uploaded something before, it can get a little temperamental. And this is why we haven't fully released this to the public yet, because we're still working out these kinks So it is important. I'm gonna delete the old one. This isn't something I would normally recommend, but nobody else has added this to their games yet. If you delete an asset that's been added to a game, you can kind of mess things up for you or for other people who have added your asset. So I would say never delete an asset if you can help it. But we don't need to worry about that with this one because I've never published it, so nobody has added this to their inventory. So we're just going to export to Marketplace again. Yes, presets will be coming back. Presets are still there technically. They're kind of like locked. You're locked out of selecting them at the moment, and that is because there's some issues with the preset system that are getting worked out, and hopefully that will be coming back very, very soon, so that way everybody can add those to their game. All right. So let's type this back in. Some say he's filled with the darkest of chocolates. There we go. That's better.
Ooh,
Yeah.
it's a lot of chocolate.
All right.
Is he like directly filled with the cocoa bean? Is that like a hollow bunny that you just shake it and it's like coffee?
He's full of baked beans. That's what he's full of.
Oh, that's a mistake.
Everybody knows that meme, right? Things filled
Folks,
with baked
that's
beans.
official. That's the lore for this bunny. You saw it here on Twitch on the Sandbox. This is an official stream. This is not a joke. That bunny is filled with baked beans now.
Some say he's filled with the darkest of chocolates, but he's really filled with baked beans. So
there it is.
That's what happens when you bite in. All right.
Yep.
So we're gonna click horror, I think. And what other tag should we pick here? I'm thinking, I guess he could be a monster, and he's definitely a decoration. That's how we're going to use the asset, and we're going to click none for the theme. I'm not sure themes are sticking around. Our big sale of 112 assets, we had to select none for all of those. So I think the themes are being kind of discontinued to leave just the tags because there's some overlap there. And for this one in particular, we're going to make it an art type instead because we're not putting gems or catalysts on it. And so it's going to be an art type. And we're just going to double check those animations. Evil, okay, that looks good. We're going to send for approval. Now I'm going to go do a mod thing over here. I'm going to approve the asset. I don't want to reveal anything over here that... no, I think everything there is fine. Nothing there's secret. So I'm going to hit approve on that asset. It is now published, and I'm going to go to my ready to mint inventory here. Chocolate Bunny. And, oops, I went too far. Ready to mint. And, I don't have checkboxes. Oh, you know what? My wallet is locked right now. That's important. You have to be logged into your wallet for... oops. Let's see if I can
Good morning, Jane.
type it correctly. There we go. All right. I probably need to refresh the page at this point. So I noticed that my sand balance was 0, which would be kind of scary. There we go. Ready to mint. Now I've got the checkboxes. I've got my sand balance. I've got my gems and my catalysts, but I don't need any of those for making an art. So we click the checkbox on the bunny. So I guess I'm skipping ahead a little bit because if you're in the game jam, you don't need to mint anything to make your game. And in fact, most of you won't have access to minting yet until this is open to the public. However, Joseph has a handy form. So I just approved my own asset because I have those privileges. I can do that. But as an artist account, if you're working on a game jam game, you need to submit it to Joseph to get approval on your asset so it's published and available on the marketplace so you can publish your game to the gallery for judging. So Joseph, do you have the link handy for that? And
I can give it to them, yeah.
we will
So
show
this
people real
form
quick.
is only applicable to those who have already been accepted as an artist. So if you have not yet been accepted, I will first put into the chat the Medium article. Inside this Medium article, you can apply to become an artist. Everyone who is creating a game for the Game Jam is approved in their application. To refresh that page real quick before I can send that link. So the first link is the Medium article. Go find the application for how to become an artist. I will approve that. I can approve that before the end of the day. And then I will have a second link here. This link is just a basic Google form. In that Google form, this is the asset submission. And keep in mind, when you do submit as an artist for the Game Jam, you do not have the ability to mint yet. We are not authorizing that. So what that means is you should submit things without Catalyst, without gem requirements. Excuse me. And then when you do submit those without the gem and Catalyst requirement, I can very quickly approve them. Now that said, also you have to make sure that when you send me the links as requested in this second form, that you are sending me those links and on your account you've requested that I approve them. So you can't just send me the link because I won't be able to approve anything you don't officially request in your account. But that said, yeah, you
Right.
the submissions are still going to stay in the Google form forever until I actually approve them or delete it from the form. And technically, they're still in the form, but I can delete my need to see it. So I know which ones I haven't approved yet. So there have been a few so far where I haven't been able to accept it because that person didn't officially actually say, hey, will you accept it? They just sent me the link because you can see it before I can see it.
Right. Yeah, and I'll show on screen now what that looks like for everybody. So, so you saw earlier when I went to we'll just open up this one. You were on your editing screen, so you've got your your name, you set up your categories, and then you get the send for approval button. So at this point, I would want to open up the game maker and take a look at my asset in the game maker and make sure I'm happy with the way that it works, because at this point, before I've sent for approval, it's already in my game maker inventory. We can go take a look at that. Let's open up the bunny right now in the game maker before we mint. Technically I should have done that before sending for approval. I'm pretty sure it's going to be okay, but I knew I was going to get to this stage anyway. Wait a second for that to launch. James asks, do we wait for Game Jam approval once we have submitted? So do they need to wait for your approval to get an artist account? Well, you would need the artist account before you can start sending assets to Joseph anyway. You won't be able to upload until he's approved your account. So,
but I can approve that in a matter of seconds.
Yeah,
so
it's very quick.
As soon as I see it pop up after each stream, I check, and I do 3 streams a week here on the official channel. So I'll check those, and then I check the artist requests every day just to make sure that everything gets approved or gets reviewed as it needs to. So usually when it comes to the artist requests, if there's a trouble, I'm sending you an email because I don't usually know how to reach out to you in any faster way. So if you have submitted arts and they haven't been approved, check your email. You may see something that you need to adjust. Otherwise, you could DM me if you have something that you've sent that I haven't received.
Those motorcycles, man, they're gonna drive me bonkers.
That's all
So
right. Oh, James, I see your request right here anyway. It looks like you submitted it between the last 2 streams. So and there you go. You are now an approved artist.
woohoo! We got another artist. All right, so what do we notice is wrong here? It's not showing the right right idle. So I misspoke. It doesn't grab the idle necessarily. I think it grabs. There's 2 different ways to select your default animation. So I'm actually gonna do a mulligan. Go back and go back to my inventory. Push us back to iterating. There's a whole bunch of bunch of stuff here. Let's see. Published.
And allergies are hitting me hard today, Alex. You said the sun was out. The sun is out here right after a rain.
Oh
And
no, all the pollen.
yeah, we have these beautiful yellow flowery bushes called Scotch broom. And I don't know if they're prevalent all over, but they come from Scotland and they are oops all pollen and they kill me. If I don't take a Claritin every day, I will wake up with like the entire like top of my mouth inflamed.
Oh
Uh,
no.
yeah, and you could probably hear it right now in my voice. So I'm going to answer some questions here in the chat, and I apologize if I'm coughing.
Sure.
Do we need to send many assets? I'm filling in assets, or can we be accepted based on only one asset? So the purpose of the artist's function right now is that you're being accepted as an artist for creating in the game jam. I assume that when you're creating a game, you're not only going to need one specialized asset if you are requesting to be an artist. That said, I am not filtering it heavily because I am keeping all the emails, and then at the end of the game jam, we will make a determination as to whether to keep those artists or not as artists, and see where it goes from there. It's very likely that those people will stay as artists, but you're still not going to necessarily get the special attention of the rest of the artist program. Um, it, Depending on how much work, frankly, that ends up being, because I'm shouldering right now all of those artists, and we have as many artists in this program as we have we have about 2/3 of the total artist pool, um, just in this one-off. So it is a lot of bodies to manage if you start throwing like 100 assets at me every day, and I expect before the end of this game jam that may well be the exact number. um, so it's a lot to look at. Ashtan, if you would like to direct message me, you can go at the Vision EX on Twitter, and you could at me even if it's just a regular tweet if you can't DM me there, or you can go over on our Discord, discord.gg slash it's actually pretty complicated. I'm going to just make a copy link right now, so you can go over on our Discord here and you can find myself, and I'm going to paste this in the chat as I'm saying it, so if it comes by a little late, that's just because it's a live stream and that's how that goes. But you can message me that way. Let's see here. There were other questions. Do we have to wait for game jam approval once we have submitted? Yeah, there is a little wait, but again, it's just that's just me opening it.
So I'm having some issues getting the right idol selected here, but I think because everybody wanted this to be, it's pretty easy in the game maker to set the default that you want. So I think we're gonna leave it with the evil animation as default for both the dashboard and OpenC. I've been able to get it to split, having two different animations before, so I'm not sure why it's not working this time, but I think maybe the bunny's just cursed, and we're just going to roll with it. That's what we're gonna do. So I'm gonna send for approval. So when I've clicked, it's good that I had to click send for approval again though, because that lets me go to my pending. So if you go to, let me make sure you guys can actually see what I'm clicking on. Let me make the screen a little bit smaller here.
Thank you, Gat. That was the question that I couldn't find anymore. So there is no hard deadline for the Creator Fund. If you are looking to become a new Creator Fund creator or an artist in the artist program, keep in mind that these programs are designed to be kind of in-house game studios, essentially, or in-house artists, depending on which of the two you apply for. And those funds extend each time that a sale is made on the marketplace. So if you look over at our white paper, which is very easy to find if you Google the Sandbox white paper, in that white paper, it highlights a sort of a revenue revolution process where with each one of these sales, about 5% of that goes back into the foundation fund. And the foundation fund is the pool in which we use to pay those creators, those artists in those funds. And so as those sales continue, as we get a new land sale or we get new marketplace sales, that pool increases, which just allows us to approve new projects, right? The same process will be true later when we have a play to earn system and people are earning sand and they are paying to get these assets, to get these lands, because even when it's just peer-to-peer transactions, there will still be that small transaction fee that goes into continuing to build these high quality projects and like evolve as the sandbox goes year over year.
All right. So, I am going to show you how to submit your asset to Joseph. So what you want to do is once you've done your upload and you've clicked send for approval, you don't want to do it before you've clicked send for approval because Joseph won't be able to approve it if you haven't sent it for approval. So you click send for approval and you want to navigate to your profile. So you click the me button in the bottom left corner. You go to inventory and you change this filter from ready to sell to pending. Pending means that you've submitted for approval. And you can see we've got the chocolate bunny on there now. You click on it, and it's going to bring up this URL. Now, this URL is the way they all read for these type of things is sandbox.game/ and then your language code. So if English is the language you have the dashboard at, it's going to be in English. We've also got Korean, Chinese, and Japanese. So that 2-letter code may be different depending on what your settings are. Then assets, and then the name of your asset, and then the asset ID. So that's the whole URL. You don't want anything else in there. If you are in the editor changing the settings and you copy the URL from there, it's going to have other things in that URL, which are not going to be helpful for Joseph clicking on it. So just one more time, you go to the Me tab, inventory, pending, and then click on your asset. And this is the URL that you want to grab. So you copy that, you bring up Joseph's handy form, and this is all explained on the form. We show how to export to the marketplace, getting to your unpublished inventory. So in case you're having a hard time following any of this, it's all written down here. And when you paste in your URL, if the first part of it is wrong, it will actually not be accepted. So that first part's got to match. Then what is your email? So you put in your email and click submit, and that's it. So you just paste, email, submit. And we do the email because if there's an issue with your link, if Joseph is having a hard time getting to your asset to approve it, he knows how to contact you back and communicate with you to make sure that you get your asset approved in time. So, Avatar, did you see your the NFT screenshot, the Easter Bunny? So, no, I did not, but I know that you own one because you bought it from somebody who got approved before. But I did say that if you've bought it off of somebody, that you would be eligible. So, Avatar, I do know that you own one, and I made sure that I'm minting enough, so there's an extra one for you. So, I got you covered. So, let's go ahead and do the minting. Let's see. I need to actually approve this. Okay. Approve. And we're going to go back to our inventory, and we're going to go to ready to mint. And this is not going to be accessible to anybody except for artists who are preparing to be in the pre-sale events that we're running twice a week right now. But when we click on that, we can set the quantity. So I said we're going to do 15 of these. So that's enough for the 10 people who bought bunnies. Some bought more than one, and they're getting more than one accordingly. One for the original Easter Bunny artist and one for me. And I think there will be one left after that. Maybe we'll do something special with it. I haven't decided on that yet. But 15 is a pretty high scarcity. So If we had selected an entity that had gems and catalysts, this would say catalyst mint, but this is not a catalyst mint. This is an art, so it uses the common mint. It's a separate contract, so those are two separate buttons. If I was to select, well, I can actually do it right now. If I select those, it'll actually fail if I try clicking on this because they're two separate contract codes, so it can't mint them at the same time. I can mint multiple catalysts, or I can mint multiple commons, but I cannot mint a mixture of the two. So we got our bunny, common mint. Whoop. It changed the quantity on that, so we're going to cancel that. It went down to 1. That would be a very rare bunny. So we're going to go up to 15. Glad I was looking. Common mint. Oh, now it's mad because I just tried minting it. So it says please wait 198 seconds. So we can talk about other things for now.
Cool.
Joseph, you got any questions in the chat that we can go over?
I don't see extra special questions. One question came through, and it's been bouncing back and forth with some typing about the Game Maker Fund or the Artist Fund, which are part of the Foundation Fund program. I mentioned something about 5%. But the fact is, when you're submitting for those, generally speaking, if you are asking yourself the question, how high quality should my submissions be, I would recommend that you make that the highest quality that you can produce. Because this is going to be a showcase that says, hey, if I get approved, I get to make my game, and that is funded, right? So it's not just made by you, because you can make your game right now, but it is funded, is officially supported, and it becomes one of the games that are the Sandbox game, right? So it's an important distinction as a creator, that it becomes more, rather than it being you independently, it gives you a kind of like a clout bump on a resume sort of thing if you don't continue to produce more games, which may well be the case with the Sandbox going forward there. So those people who are creating, they're making games and you've never seen them, or maybe you've seen little snippets of them. That, like, the officially supported creators right now in the Creators Fund are making bigger games on bigger scales with relatively large budgets, and they are allowed to do so, and it like pays their 9 to 5 sort of wage.
Sure.
So it's, I would go give it your all. And then to the question of, should they just be pictures, should they be animated, should they be video samples, something like that. If you are creating assets in VoxEdit that can showcase what you want your game to be, like just a piece or two that you can make move, then that becomes easier for us to see what your vision is and how it fits inside the Sandbox ecosystem, right? If it's a game, you're probably storyboarding something, so that comes in a kind of a different way, but still having an asset or two that helps us get your vision across in our ecosystem is a lot easier to say, hey, yeah, that's going to get approved because we know how it's going to work, right? So it's worth the extra mile, I think, when you're making a pitch, to make it obvious to us how it fits in the ecosystem.
I've got a couple rapid fire answers for the chat here, and then I think we'll be ready to mint again. So James Halla asks, when I made the bonsai tree, that's the cup bonsai, which program was it that you used? VoxEdit. So all of the Sandbox dashboard you can only upload through VoxEdit. There's no other tool that has the necessary access. So you need to have an artist account on the dashboard, which if you're participating in the game jam, we talked about earlier, and there's a link further up in the chat that Joseph shared, so you can apply to be an artist there, and then all the uploads have to be through VoxEdit. That's the only way that it works. Now you can model in Voxel Max and other tools, and if you check out my YouTube tutorials, I explain how to export from those. Sometimes you have to go through Magic of Voxel to take care of some formatting incompatibilities, and then from Magic of Voxel you can go into VoxEdit. And we're constantly working on trying to smooth those things out. So future updates should be more compatible with other flavors of the Vox format. Happy birthday to Nina. Nina Ritchie, I think. I don't know if you'll win the Wizzy.
Nice.
It is randomly generated, but best of luck. You know, magic has happened here on stream before.
So there's two questions.
I was gonna do the whale
chat.
one if you want.
Oh yeah. No, go ahead with that one, and then I want to remember James.
So I'm guessing this is Wanazi. I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, but what happens if a whale purchases a lot of land and makes nothing with it? So that is possible, but I don't think it's very likely because the whales that we already have in our community, like Whale Shark and A Lot of Money, are very involved in our community as far as making artwork, talking to other artists, and promoting their work and partnering with us. Pranksy is another whale in our environment. We did a whole land presale around Pranksy's stuff. So the whales in our community seem very interested in making our community successful, and that's only to their benefit. If they buy a whole bunch of land and never do anything with it, that devalues their land, it devalues other lands, and then their investment is not useful. So it is to their benefit to either make content themselves or to rent, sell, or hire people to work on that land and to make things in there. So they have the ability to earn passive income through that as people play the games and spend sand in those games. So more motorcycles. So the whales will benefit the more that they get involved and get things getting made there. Official alpha release was October of last year. So
Yep.
the Game Maker alpha started last year. The game client, I don't know if it's launching in alpha or launching in beta, but the preseason, which is going to be a ticketed event. It's a raffle for landowners. That's I think 1,500 tickets. I believe was that the number. I'm not 100% sure on that. I think it was 1,500 tickets are going out to landowners to participate in Preseason Zero, and that is imminent. I don't think I have a specific date on that published yet, but it is very, very soon. Like very soon. Why not limit the land sale to one per wallet address? That would be pretty rough. I don't think we're going to do that.
Yeah, the process is already limited pretty much in how fast that they go. So
you can only click and do a transaction one at a time. So
yeah, I think in the last sale, typically what I've seen was that maybe someone gets 7 pieces of land. I think that was the largest grouping that I saw. And we have considered doing some things like lottery, but that doesn't work out if you happen to have the most money, or if you happen to have a bunch of wallets, or right. The problem with every system is that every system is flawed in a different way when it comes to these sales. But the first come first serve is what it is. It's just like when you try to buy a ticket to go to a concert, they sell out in 5 minutes. Okay, well, you try to go and you get that. Yeah, the auction system that we use for the estates now is, I think, a pretty good method that we use. We partner with OpenC.io, and we list certain estates up at auction, so you can get the 6x6s, the 12x12s, the 24x24s in the last sale. Those were up on auction, and the auction won't end until people stop bidding, essentially. If you're still bidding in the last 15 minutes, it just adds on another 10, I think, to the timer, and it'll keep going. So, see,
all
Alex
right.
is minting.
We are ready to mint. So the chat's very busy today, so we're having a hard time keeping up. But as always, you can bring your questions next time we're streaming, or ask us on Twitter or Discord or wherever. So we're always happy to answer questions. So minting these bunnies is going to cost 0.015 ETH. So that seems like a normal price right now. It's it is what it is. We can't change the gas prices too much. We can always click this edit button here and see what the range of prices is. So I usually go with average. If it's something that if you guys weren't here watching on stream, I might go with slow, but I don't want it to like say that it's going to take 2 hours and then leave the stream with it having not completed, or have to mess with the settings. So we're going to go with the average here, $35.81. We're going to click confirm, and it says your transaction is being processed. We can get the Etherscan link on that. It says it should be under 3 minutes. That's great. And in just a minute or two, we'll see another pop up on the screen here when it's finished, and it says transaction successful. So that was actually faster than expected. If we go back to Etherscan, the transaction successful, I think, is just saying that Etherscan confirms that it picked it up. I don't think that means that it completed. So we do have to wait on Etherscan. So there was kind of a follow-up to the whales thing about it being people who want to hold and not actually do anything with it. I think the same applies to them, that if they're just holding on to it, it's not increasing in value. And Etherscan confirmed. So let's go to our ready to sell. We're not going to sell them, but okay, it's not there yet. Sometimes it takes a minute for it to show up and ready to sell. But if we go to OpenC, it should be there already.
Yes.
It won't have a preview yet, because it does take a few minutes for the preview to show up. So if I go to my OpenC account here, and there it is, Chocolate Bunny, 15 copies. There's a little refresh metadata button here, which can kind of help speed it up a little bit, but I don't really have a way of controlling it. So you can see it already has the description and the name. We're just waiting for the preview to come in. And it sounded like Joseph had something to interject there.
Yes, kind of. There is a question that you can see if you scroll just a little bit back on YouTube. I think you can do that, where even though you're live, you can go back just a bit. And you can scroll through this process, but it does cost gas to mint NFTs, just like any other on-chain transaction. That's just an inherent principle of the blockchain. The only exceptions to that are layer 2 services, where the company directly elects to eat the gas costs themselves and finds another way to compensate for that, typically. So right now, the gas is regular Ethereum on-chain transaction. Because it is an origin kind of transaction, it wasn't too much, right? I think, what was that, like $30 for those
35, 50? And it was the quantity doesn't matter there either. I could have done 100 and I almost said 150,000. That was
could have done the maximum number.
Whatever that might be.
And it's still, like, if it was like 4,000 or something, I think that's what it is.
It probably still would have been $35.
Like that. Yeah, would have been just $35 US, coming out as Ethereum, because it is happening on the Ethereum blockchain. So we are exploring layer 2 options, have been for some time. You can probably see, if you follow Sebastian Bourget over on Twitter, that is one of our co-owners, and he is often in those dealings directly, where he's liking something from this layer 2 solution, and he's interacting with someone from this layer 2 solution, right? And like shopping around to make sure that we get a product that is fast, effective, cheap, etc. For any potential layer 2 add on to the market. But if we get to such a point where Ethereum says, hey, we're pushing this update forward, where it becomes proof of stake instead of proof of work, then you would find that gas fees were super cheap pretty much overnight. And if that happens, then we don't have to worry about it too much, because the transactions would, be literally 1,000 times cheaper.
Yeah. And let's knock this toxicity out of the chat. We're not discouraging whales because they do help support us, but we encourage all sorts of small creators. We when we hit milestones in our viewership, we give away lands for free. We have in the past done all sorts of competitions that give away free land. The initial prices for land were under $45. So I think we have well over 2,000 landowners at this point. I don't remember what the exact numbers are for unique landowners, but we have a lot of people. Plus, we've got the game maker fund, which lets people pitch their games to get granted land to publish on, as well as the budget. I think Joseph was talking about that earlier. So that is something where if you propose an idea and our project manager for that thinks that that's a viable project, you get paid to make a game on our land, and you do not have to be a whale. You do not have to have any money to do that. All you have to do is submit your idea on the forum and have a good idea for it.
Also, we are doing a game jam right now where the top 10 submissions are winning sand tokens and a land NFT. So if you want to, one second, I'm going real
doing some math.
Nope. So there we will have land NFTs that are distributed. At the end of these, they're roughly $1,200 being sold on OpenC right now, but we are giving them away to people who are creating games, right? So if you're thinking, hey, how can I make this? How can I get this going? Head over to medium.com/sandbox-game. Check out the A Glitch in the Matrix 300,000 sand giveaway. Okay.
Yeah.
So
lots of opportunities. I mean, all over the place.
And they're going to continue
was
to
not
be
a whale
open.
before this. I'm still not a whale, really. So.
Yeah, there's a sand competition where you, for weeks and weeks, over on our official forums, you can check out that. So you could potentially win a land NFT by making VoxEdit assets like the chocolate bunny that Alex made here on this stream over the last couple of streams or so, or like the tables and things like that you may have seen. Or, you can see a bunch of nice NFT arts and assets here. Look at that.
Oh, no.
I have not seen this in the game yet. I have not adventured into the game.
So, for some reason, my Dojira is not showing up. Let's see if it'll... Sometimes that URL, I've had that happen before. I've gone back and forth, and sometimes the URL loads, sometimes it doesn't on that specific NFT. If it doesn't work this time, we'll just carry on. Oh, there it is. But that one's gone. Oh no. And that one's gone. What's going on? Okay, so obviously we're still working on this. Sometimes things load in, sometimes they don't. But last night when I made this, all four were working. So I don't know what's going on now. But
new features, right? People asked for this actually. So what you're seeing on the screen is the ability to display your NFTs in the game. So that Dojira animation and obviously the assets that are the sandbox assets are being displayed. You can see Alex's fountain outside. So he's made a little art showcase here, and I really like those portraits. I mean, I know half of them just now didn't load this time, but as we go, it may make sense to I wonder if there's a way to check and see if link is broken and then reload it. If it is, I'm gonna have to talk to those guys.
It's something to look into. So
yeah,
this feature just got released this week, so there's gonna be bugs that we'll figure out.
Yeah.
So
gosh, I really like this little piece that you've done here. This little land. Obviously, it's not taking up nearly anything in terms of the real size of these lands.
Nope.
But this
it's
is
very
really
small.
Cool.
So I wanted to load it up in the gallery first because that lets us open the NFT menu, and you can see the images that loaded in actually let you hover over and take a look at them, and
nice.
You can click View Asset Page, And it opens up OpenC. Ta-da! Is that cool? So the other neat thing with this is it shows that I'm the verified owner. It shows that I'm not the creator in this case. What is kind of funny is the stuff from the Pranksy boxes. It does say I'm the creator because when I had the box, it mints to my inventory from the box. So technically, I'm the minter, even though I did not make this artwork. So note that might be a little confusing. There's not a way on the signature for us really to say who the artist is other than the description itself saying that the artist is Orabel Art, who has lots more pretty purple and aqua kind of cyberpunky mermaid themed stuff. I did notice that the assets are not showing up in the legendary epic rare common now, although that might be my fault because I did disable the 3D asset count from the welcome screen, even though I didn't even show a welcome screen. But let's open this up in the editor real quick. We've only got a few minutes left, but we're going to break down how to set these up. It's really super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Hey, look at that. So I gotta
congratulations to one of my favorite YouTubers.
I want to address this question out loud that I see in the chat, even though I did answer it in text, because I think that it's important and it's actually funny. So Alex, you have a castle inside your little art showcase.
Yes,
there.
That is
that
by
tiny little castle.
That is by
The
Tybalt.
user had asked, why is it so small?
Because this is from before the Game Maker was made. So we can talk about the history of the assets here, because this is kind of a historic. Some of the pieces in here are pretty historic. So this castle is made by Tybalt Samar, who is some people. Our COO likes to call me the lead artist, but I consider Tybalt our lead artist. He's been here longer than me, and he set up the Sandbox style. So when we take a look at the way assets are made now from our creator fund, Tybalt is the one who kind of established those guidelines. He's been a voxel artist for a long time, and he's kind of the one of the founding artists in the creator fund from even before the creator fund was really a thing. So this castle was made, and the game maker didn't exist yet. We didn't have a game engine. Nothing had been put in Unity yet. The game engine itself, if it existed at that point, was in Java, actually, and was nothing like what we have now. So we had a totally different ecosystem. It's kind of funny if you look. It doesn't show up on this one. Actually, if you go to the OpenC link, let's see if I can pull it up. The OpenC links to the sandbox are sort of broken. They're not accurate anymore. Why can't I click on anything? Hello.
You're broken.
I'm clicking, but it's not taking me anywhere.
So I want to stress this to the chat. The funniest thing that I think about this castle, and why it's just like a cute little art accessory at this point, but also harkens back to before time, right? You used to be able to take an asset and essentially just grab the corners and go, whoop, I want it to be this big in the game, right? Or and shrink it down. And we realized that there was a major technical issue with being able to not so much enlarge things as it is to shrink them. Enlarging has its own problems, but so let's say that you created a voxel character, right? And you made their head, and then you were like, I want it to look like a Michelangelo sculpture. You could technically at that time make all the voxels, shrink them,
every single tooth. You could put a mole on the cheek.
Exactly.
Do little holes in the nostrils. Yeah.
It could have been like ultra HD, better than, Unreal 5 sort of number of voxels. And that is some lag to anybody who's anybody, right?
Right.
So this castle was created in a time where you could go, hey, I want it to be voxel style. And then you go, how big should it be? Whoop, that big, super huge, right? So now you get it in the game, and because we had to set height standards and teach people that 32 voxels is 1 meter and that sort of thing, this was made before then. So really, now it's just like 1.5 meters little cutesy boy. Just tiny. It's tiny and nice, and I like it, and I want one. But unfortunately, I did not get them during that original minting.
They're only $200 now.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is from the very first asset sale, and actually 3 of the items in there are from the very first asset sale. So when you click the view on Sandbox link for this, it goes to a site cannot be reached because it says pre-prod sandbox.game, which is pre-production. So if you delete the pre-prod, it goes actually to the real. There it is. So you can see some of Tybalt's other. I don't think we even have the medieval biome anymore. I don't remember. Tybalt also did the police mech, which was a 1 of 1. It was like $1,000
All right,
on the
folks,
initial
I've closed
sale.
down the form that I secretly put in the chat.
Bum,
So,
bum, bum.
Dun dun dun.
You snooze, you lose.
What is RNG? You know what I mean? I'm gonna. Okay. What are you doing to me, Google? I typed RNG and it did not give me a random number generator.
So
I don't like it. I gotta go find one.
So the other assets that we've got in here. So we've got the castle, and I had to put up an invisible wall behind the castle because it's actually possible to jump on top of the castle and fall behind it and not be able to jump back at. So that's a little. I did test my own level. Then this is by Alina, who she was one of our artist group leaders for artists helping review assets. She now actually works for the Game Maker Fund, reviewing the assets for the people who are building levels in the Game Maker Fund. So when they need their assets checked for technical issues, she deals with those. So she's helping out with a lot of people that way. Somebody said that, the animation is working. Well, that's because we brought back the animated decoration behavior. So I can now click on which animation I want, and it will loop in the game. So I have it set on moving forwards. Another pre-sale 1 asset is Huge Stewart here, our moonwalking gorilla.
Yeah.
But because I just have him on a platform, I set animated decoration and set it to idle. So he's not doing his attack. It's funny, we've got attack test, T-pose, walk test, because this, even though primates are now a template in VoxEdit that you can do, this guy is the prototype. He was the prototype of the gorilla primate template. So all these animations were labeled as test, so he predates that being used as a template in VoxEdit. So those are those, and then I put Dojira in there, which I made just because I wanted to have all 4 walls with 2D artwork, and I have the Dojira piece. Right now we don't support video files or GIFs yet. That will be on the way, but for now it's just still images. And let's see if I hit play now.
So if you're watching this right now,
we're up another one.
And you're thinking to yourself, who won that with the NFT? Nice. Nice.
Wait, oh no. We lost one. We lost a different one.
Broke it. There it is.
Who won the Wizzy NFT? Who won?
He broke it. Tribe Walker over on youtube.com. Congratulations. You have won a Wizzy the Blue NFT asset. That asset will be sent to you shortly. I'm going to check our queue on that. We up to date on that queue, Alex? We got a few in the queue.
All right, I'll try to get those out today.
So we will.
I'll get those out today while I'm sending bunnies. So it's going to just
there you go.
It's going to be a OpenC gifting day.
You get a gift. You get a gift.
No. So, yeah, I'm getting a 500 error on that. That happens sometimes. So occasionally these links to OpenC do not work. And then sometimes they do work. Like the Dojira image did not work the first time we loaded the level, and then it did work. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the 3 corners here, we've got pre-sale 1 assets. Dojira was one of our first partner NFTs that was designed. It was not the first one minted. I think it came after the Smurfs, but I believe this is one of the first partner assets that I ever designed. This sand fountain that I did is from the second pre-sale. This was, I just wanted like big statues in the corners because you're looking at them out the window. This is for Uniquely, one of our partners. This is for Pranksy box, and includes Whale Shark and a lot of money as founders in the Sandbox ecosystem. And then this is actually a very recent asset. This is by Gundam Z, who I believe Gundam Z joined the Creator Fund after watching these streams. I don't know if Gundam Z's here today. I didn't see him in the chat. But Gundam Z was a longtime viewer of the streams and got really excited about doing artwork in the Creator Fund, and so we made that happen. And then he got to sell these, and I was very quick to buy one of these because I love this airplane. So yeah, that is my showcase. And then the stuff on the walls, the CryptoKitties and the other two artworks all came from a Pranksy box. I don't have a lot of 2D artwork in my OpenC wallet. It's mostly Sandbox stuff, so it's all 3D things. Yeah, shout out to Gundam Z. He is extremely helpful, and also on the French Discord probably for Magic of Voxel, I'm guessing. All right, so I guess I should show really quickly how to get these frames set up. So you might notice there's a weird offset going on. There are a few established sizes for the frames, and there are frames that are already pre-built. So I can grab this frame here. Let me go inside. So this billboard frame comes with the Game Maker, and if you click on it, you'll see that it has image display as a component. You have to get rid of that if you want to do NFT display, because if we click add component, NFT display doesn't actually show up on the menu. So you got to remove image display first, and now you can see NFT image as an option that's available. This will only work on the frame type objects, and we can look at how to set this up in VoxEdit later, but right now there's some weird quirks, which is why I have this offset here. But you click NFT image, and then we can just grab any 2D NFT off OpenC. It doesn't have to be one that you own. Let's see. Where's something interesting? Let's see. Nyan Cat's animated, so I can't do that one. Let's find something. The problem is so many NFT. It's not really a problem, but the problem is that so many NFTs are animated. Oops.
Yeah.
Oops, all GIFs.
Oh, we have a question in the chat over on YouTube, and so you folks probably can't see it, but I am still responding on the side. Somebody says, what's the idea of the sandbox? Because they can't completely get it. Like, how many different games, how many different types of games can you create? Is it just MMOs? Is it just museums or stores? Can you create more unique things? And the fact is that you can create, at this point, pretty much anything that your mind can come up with using the tools that we have. And we are working every day to change and make that easier and easier for you to do. So far, the more unique things that we've seen is we have seen tower defense style games. We have seen racing games. We have seen, obviously, we have a lot of these RPG style games because those are like the easiest tools. Oh, I like the little CryptoKitty showed up at that.
Yeah. So any CryptoKitty, probably any Axie. Can I do an Axie? I think I should be able to.
Be able to. Interesting.
I don't have any CryptoKitties or Axies myself, so I'm just grabbing some from OpenC. That's so when I showed what it looks like on the gallery with the NFT view, when it said verified owner, it would not show verified owner for these. It would be like a little red X that says that, hey, the person's displaying this because they think it's cool, but it's not something that they actually own. So if you want to show off and be snancy
or something like that, yeah, nice. And then another thing too is you can put in complex kinds of coding in a lot of interesting ways. Like if you've seen the Game Maker Academy, Cyber Dragon, who had submitted for a couple of our game jams, has been working in the Game Maker Academy, and they created a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire game, where they created an animated audience that responds to you getting the answers correct. They created a randomization function on the, like, literally under the floor with these moving assets, and if the asset is over this, space when you want to ask question number 6, then that of the row of 15 assets that would slowly be moving side to side like this, like if you use my microphone as an example, when the calculator gets over here, right, then this one would be the question that is asked to you. So it gives a sense of randomness. But when this one is over the top, it ignores this calculator and only asks this question. So when you got to question number 6, they would all be different. And there was a series of, I think they did 150 questions overall. Yep. So the odds of you having the same experience when you play that game twice is very, very low. And then you, as a designer, can take that to any level of scalability that you want. If you wanted to make it more complex, you could, where it could be even more randomized in the same system, just like evolving it to the next level. So again, it can basically be anything you want. If you want a random monster to spawn, you can use the same mechanic as Cyber Dragon used for a random question to spawn, and those sorts of things. Or random function. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. The little spoin coin right there. You see that, chat? Those people who've been watching us live for years and years. At this point, we haven't been going that long, but it feels like it.
Not even 1 year yet.
Right? Can appreciate this right here. Spoin coins were a meme. Once Alex was trying to put shiny spinning coins down, and he says spoin, and we all had a laugh about it, and I created a little animation live.
We were talking about this fountain, right? In the,
yeah, that's right.
Or the individual coins themselves, maybe.
Yes, yeah, the spinning coins that were on that fountain. I think you can find some of those. I don't know if they're on the marketplace right now or if they're only third party. Do you only just have those?
You can buy them through OpenC for now. When I'm probably going to hold off selling them on the Sandbox until well, right now we're trying to focus on promoting the artists there, so I don't want to steal their thunder. I mean, I've got stuff up for sale there too, and I don't want to steal my own thunder by putting the coins up. But also because you can only buy one at a time. And the coins, I feel like people are probably going to want to use them across multiple games. I put them up. I offer them on OpenSea in packages of like 10 coins, so that way it's kind of more worth the gas fee than buying one at a time. So
very good.
There's a lot of them. I feel like that they have high utility, but not necessarily high value as a super common item. I think the stock is something like 5,000 or something like that. It's pretty big. So I try to make them. I'm trying to make them as available as possible at a low cost. Is really the goal with those coins. I saw somebody in the chat ask about getting the bunny. Let me see what the name was. I believe I already have them down. Cerebo. Let's see. Cerebo, you need to message me on Twitter, and I will check on that, because I might your username on here might not be matching up to what I saw before, but I went through my mentions and I checked every instance that the bunnies popped up in my mentions. So yeah, and Wenazi, yes, FPSs are coming eventually. So
yeah, one thing that you're waiting for is just a hour coded ranged attack, just to make life easy. Technically, it's possible to make an FPS, but it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
As a game creator, so we
not
have
too
seen
easy on the
people
player
make
either.
Cannons. Yeah, well, that's true. We have seen people make cannons that are functional. We have seen people make all sorts of different projectiles that are similar to a cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Not directly explosive on impact like a cannon may be, but I guess it'd be like it's shooting a bowling ball or something instead of like an explosive TNT when it hits. But you can definitely expect because we wanted to for some time now add ranged attacks, but the things that we were focusing on in the short term are like social multiplayer lobbies, and then taking, fixing certain features we've added in, um, parry attack sort of functions, defense functions, and then it'll be tuning those defense functions, like really rounding out the melee. Uh, I think for the rest of the zero point 0.6 update, that'll probably be the direction. I don't know. Alex actually knows this better than me, but based on what I've seen in my meeting, that seems to be the direction.
I think at this point we're trying to get everything ready for uh, the game client launch. So I'm not sure what new features we'll be seeing at this point. But there is a constant refining, and some things that were like presets that were disabled temporarily, we should be seeing those come back too.
Cool.
All right, so I did want to just like quick little tutorial here. So I did explain how to remove the image, add the NFT image. Then you just can grab any OpenC URL, and if it is one that belongs to your wallet, that is the same wallet you have for the Sandbox, when people play the game on the gallery, they'll be able to see a verified icon on the NFT inventory, that you own it or that you created it. So you have to paste that URL. There will be a validate button. So if I remove the 7 at the end here, I click validate, it loads the image up, and then I click continue. And then you can set scale mode. So original would put it at the original size. That doesn't usually work too well for our frames, because things are not designed to fit in those frames necessarily. But resize will scale it disproportionately to fit. So if I hit resize on this, it's going to stretch the coin out like that. Makes me think of those penny smushers you get at the museums and stuff. Then you can fit to width, which would crop off that. And then you can fit to height, which will be the optional for this one.
I kind of like fit to width on that. It reminds me of, I don't know, it's a little bit creepy, but fit to width looks like a nice artistic piece you throw up on your wall above the bed or something, and it's like, hi, I'm Alex.
I don't know about that. And then repeat. So if we had something small, can I paste in the CryptoKitties? If I go back and I think this one.
Yes, Julian. You can definitely mint NFT arts that are JPEG or static image at this time. So if you purchase it on Rarible or you minted it on Rarible and you have a JPEG version that is included, you just need to include that URL link in order for it to load. If it is moving, then that's something we're working on. And I have seen that functional as like a YouTube video in the past, as far back as last August. But we want to get like smooth functional integration. And one of the things that you may notice is that sometimes when Alex is loading these right now, as we are putting it into the client, they don't always load instantly. And it seems that if it doesn't instantly load, then it won't reattempt to load, like that image which was working seconds ago.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this one worked at all today.
And there's a balance,
but this one wasn't working earlier, and now it is working. So I think that, I'm not sure if that's on OpenC's end or our end, but it's something that I can report to the devs and they can look into.
When you're thinking about how a user is going to interact with this, there's a balance as well, because we can't constantly have the game maker trying to access these images, because two things happen. You DDoS a service like OpenC, and the second thing is that you lag your consumer or your client player when they try to come into your world, and it's like constantly loading image in the background and reloading and reloading and reloading. That would be bad for their experience. Excuse me. Yeah, cool. That's so cool. I love that uniquely asset. I really
That's one of
wish.
my favorites. That and Metalympics. I'm super proud of those.
Yeah,
Uh, I really
I got one of those.
tapped in.
Hey, that you got
Hey,
that one from creating an avatar.
I tapped
I
into
already have
my
it.
my inner motion graphics designer who has no motion graphics training to make those. But I was
You
really
know
happy
what?
with the way they
What
came
is
out.
training except failure over and over? You know.
Yeah, I decided to just win from the beginning. It was so much easier.
There it is. That's wow. Thanks, Alex. I had to go and fail, and you were just like, "Nah, I don't want to. I'm gonna skip that step."
Because skip the fail part. Just
Let's
I'm
see. You
terrible.
cannot currently one use Decentraland items or any other raw like OBJ item in the sandbox. You can
Yeah.
import them into Magic of Voxel and then convert them into compatible files, but you can't take those cross chain NFTs or cross platform NFTs into the sandbox, at least at this time.
Yeah, that's something we're interested in having. We would like this to be a full metaverse experience with interoperability. Just at this stage, we're focusing on getting our gameplay right, so that way we create a fun experience. That's Decentraland and Crypto Voxels have a much more kind of like this, a much more gallery like experience. And while you can do games in them, we're trying to make the game creation as accessible as possible, and that's going to be more. That's more of the driving
Yeah.
uh, tech of our platform is the game
Right.
creation.
Yeah, we want to
Hey,
focus
more
on games,
motorcycles.
not so much on art galleries. But art galleries are a thing that people do want as well. So why not both, right? Uh, but there's a balance between keeping in theme like our style and then integrating everyone else's style. And at some point, we'll have to decide whether it's worth the messiness of having assets that are high fidelity versus voxel, right? Or, I guess high poly is more accurate because the voxel styles have a defined look to them and a defined, like stylization. I really like the new lighting engine and how it super showcases the way these voxel assets look.
Mm-hmm.
It makes things look better than ever.
Yeah, in case you didn't notice, the ambience has really improved. In I mean, it was already nice to have the kind of lighting that we did, but reflections and stuff are just a lot more subtle, and the ambient occlusion's a lot smoother. I'm really in love with the new lighting. I think it looks great. So, anyway, I could gush on forever about this
Cool.
stuff.
All right.
And yeah, I wouldn't say that we're trying to force homogeneity in our style. I mean, it's as far as our first party stuff is. Yes, we do. We have art direction. We've got Tybalt, who's our lead concept artist, and me and Gatto as managers of the creator fund. We try to enforce stylistic standards across it, so that way we have a very cohesive stuff for our first party content. But when you start talking about when this is going to open up for everybody, and there's going to be a lot of new stuff from the game jam that people are submitting, that's not going to conform to our brand standards. So while we do have the lack of scaling on the voxels, all the voxels are going to be the same size, and we do have it's just voxels. It's not mesh content or 2D content, except in the frames. There's going to be a lot of wiggle room for people to do different kinds of styles. I mean, even like this doesn't even look like voxel art for the most part. Like it is,
Yep.
but I went very round with everything. Versus this, and there's some angling going on, some voxels made into hexagons and things. And then we've got these very blocky trees. So I mean, there's going to be a mix of styles. So yeah, we're not setting loose for everything. It's going to be wild west. It's definitely all in
Yeah.
for the voxels, but
And
yeah.
I just want to highlight just the value of not having DCL style high fidelity polys is that we do intend, and you can see it on the roadmap, to publish this game client so that people on mobile can play these games. So if we open it up to full Unreal Engine 5 kinds of high fidelity assets that you could put into any other metaverse, potentially. I don't know exactly what their technical limitations are, but that wouldn't work on someone's Android phone. And the point of having mobile compatible assets is that you, as a game designer, can have the largest possible audience. Not just in terms of dollars and cents, but in terms of numbers. Mobile heavily outstrips PC and consoles in terms of gamers. So the most number of eyes on your product is only going to be possible if we do set some kind of technical restriction and say that one's not going to work for us. So that's just something to consider. But as time goes along, obviously those DCO assets are going to be more likely to be loaded by your Android device or your iPhone. So it could be for sure a function.
Yeah.
Anyway,
somebody mentioned Nifty Gateway Art Gallery incoming. So yeah, our land sale that's coming up on Wednesday the 14th. I think that's Wednesday, right?
Yes, that is a Wednesday.
The 14th. So next
that's
land
a long
sale.
day for Joe.
Oh no. So Wednesday is the next land sale, and we do have assets for Nifty Gateway, Avenged Sevenfold, and a bunch of other new partners. This is, I think, the most number
the Winklevoss
of
twins.
It's kind of crazy.
In the Sandbox, you know what I mean? Like it's we wanted to make sure that at least in this release that people understand the weight of attention that the Sandbox is getting, because I know most of you folks who are watching live, you've been with us for a long time, or maybe you're just joining us, but maybe you haven't heard about the Sandbox, but the bubble that the Sandbox is kind of interacting with is large. Alex last week had a laugh. He messaged me and he said, "Why is Paris Hilton following me?" And I said, "Because you are Alex and you are creating great art with a great project."
That was a very surreal moment.
It's like, and Paris Hilton has been in the NFT space for some time. So it's not just like, she wasn't just a reality TV star, right? Like she's been doing this and like hosting podcasts about cryptocurrency related or NFT related assets. And so when she follows Alex, it was like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, So our bubble is getting bigger. And you can check out an article on all of the partners that we have coming in the next land sale, and then the location of that land sale, which, if you're looking at the map, is roughly right above Roller Coaster Tycoon, that giant space there, all the way up to the coin market cap space. And there will be some auctions related to the estates, and then all of the traditional lands will include some sort of NFT asset.
The chat is flattering me a bunch. I'm going to start blushing, but what?
Yeah, that's right.
He is in a band. What band am I in? I didn't know I was in a band.
Alex is in.
I used to
you're
play
in a band of brothers. You know what I mean? Hi, how are you? You and all the artists.
I used to play bass at church, like a long
some
time
of them
ago.
Are just they, and it's a good band. It's a good band to be in.
All right, I think we've been silly for about 24 minutes now, so I think it's time for us to head out of here. And you know what? We can maybe dance a little bit, because we got blocking in.
Oh, we're gonna dance now. Alex is gonna dance. Oh, look at that! Look at that!
We're stupid.
Dance.
All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
See you guys later.
Make sure you check out the marketplace, buy some cool stuff from cool artists, and check out the land sale on Wednesday. We'll see you next week.
Have fun.